Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing. Welcome to another tutorial. Today we're going to be making a hidden journaling spot with some extra writing space on the inside. And this is a project I have done before. It has been quite some time since I've done this variation of the hidden journaling spot, but I thought I would bring you along for a little bit of fun. I do have a toothache today. It is Saturday the 8th, so if I slur a little bit, it's because my mouth is numb. I'm trying to buy some pain relief until I can get to the dentist on Monday. So yeah, I thought I would just go with an oldie but goodie and just give myself a little bit of room to move a little slower, not have to think quite so hard. So I've got all my typical supplies, my Fabri-Tac, which we'll be using. I'm going to set that over there. My white glue, which we will be using. A eyelet setter, my ink, a whale tail punch, some eyelets, and my corner rounder. So let me show you what we're going to make. Let me set this stuff away, this aside. This is the one we're going to be making today. So this is the project. So you guys have probably seen this a gazillion times where you've got this hidden writing spot that comes like this. But what I've done is I've made it very long, and I've gusseted this pocket so that we could have this long writing space. So look at this. Look at that. It is 17 3/4 inches long, which is really great. But you can see it's a little bit thicker than just a sheet of paper. So that's why I've gusseted this pocket, this part, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So the whole idea with this is that this cut here should be seamless. That's the idea. So I've made a note to not ink this edge, not ink this edge, because it is seamless. Our top piece, so this whole piece here, the front piece, is 6 3/4 total height, and it is 5 inches wide. Okay, so this part, the half part, or the part before we cut it, sorry guys, is 4 3/4 by 5, but I've added the extra 2 inches into the total measurement here for your ease. The back piece is 5.5 by 7, and that's because we have a gusset on 3 sides. So we have a 1/4 inch gusset there, and then you're going to need 2 pieces that are 2 by 5, but this piece will be cut off of the main piece. So when you start, you're going to cut your piece, which I'll show you, will be 5 inches by 6 3/4, and then we'll be cutting the 2 inches off to create that seamless effect. And then the writing space, as I mentioned, is 4.5 inches wide by 17 3/4 inches tall. Okay. And then I did make a note on this side because we did have to hinge these pages, because there's nowhere in the world that there's a piece of paper that's 17 3/4 inches long. So this first piece here that we attach this to is 4.5 by 6.5 inches tall. So we will go through that step by step. But I love how this turned out. I'm trying to figure out how this was. There we go. And I probably should leave that out because we're going to need it. So let me show you the samples. I love how they turned out. I used all pink Monarch prints. My tooth hurts. Pink Monarch prints kits. And so this is the Blush and Bloom kit. And so that's the back is one pattern. And then the front is this other really pretty rose paper. And then again, this pulls out, and obviously it is tea stain paper, so it's the same dimensions exactly. And you'll notice, again, as per my template, I did not ink this edge, and I did not ink this edge. If you want that seamless look, you do not want to ink those, okay? So let me get that out of the way. And then this is one that I made using the, just going to set that over there for the sake of supplies, the Rosewood Estates from Pink Monarch Prints. And this one I added a pocket on the front because I just liked it. I thought, why not? So there's a little bit of a hitch here because we've got this separating piece, because I added the pocket as a second thought. So we do have to work a little bit to get that down in there because it wants to get stuck on this, but I'd probably do that differently in the future. Again, it opens the same way. The back is this beautiful green paper. This is the first one I did with real paper, and I didn't do the height. I didn't add that extra 1/4 inch for our hinge at the bottom, so that's why it's a little short. It's not terrible. It's fine if that happens. It's not a deal breaker at all. And then this is the last one I did before I turned the camera on. This is the French Countryside kit from Pink Monarch Prints, and same thing, I did a little bit of an embellishment up here. We've got a little corner pocket kind of thing and 2 cards, and then the same writing space, and then that green on the back. Okay, so let me bring over, I'm going to get my ink ready here so that we can kind of ink as we go. It's still a little bit juicy, so I'm still dabbing off on that piece of paper. So let me just set that there. And this is the seam binding we'll be using because I think it's the perfect color. These are some embellishments, so we won't need those quite yet. This is going to be, this is the kit Victorian Romance from Pink Monarch Prints. I've had this for quite some time and I have never used it. So I have printed a ton of stuff, you guys, from Pink Monarch Prints because I really want to have it on hand. It's a great grab, a great kit to grab when you just want to create because everything just goes together so beautifully. So we've got our two pieces of the tea stain paper that will be for our writing space, and so I'm going to just set that over there as well. And this is going to be our front, and this is going to be the back. Is that upside down? Yes. So let's go ahead and start with the front. Actually, this is kind of in the way, my ink, so I'm going to move that. And I'm going to bring my trimmer over, and so our front again is 5 inches by 6 3/4 inches high. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that to 5 inches. And again, this is the front. So this is not the one that we're gusseting. So 5 inches by 6 3/4. And I'm just kind of looking to see what I want to retain. I think I want, let me see where we end up here. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry about that buzzing. Something's not off on my phone. Let me silence that. There we go. That should solve that problem. So 6 3/4. I think I like this because it's going to cut right through that flower. So that's a perfect separation there. Okay. So, well, not there. That's where I'm cutting it off. Goodness gracious, Cara-Renee. 6 3/4. Okay, that'll do. That'll do. Okay, so then the next thing that we're going to do, oh, wait a minute, it's upside down. It's this way because that's the writing. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut 2 inches off of whichever is the top, okay? If it's not directional, it's not going to matter. So I'm going to line that up on my 2-inch mark, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that. While we're at it, so that's seamless there. While we're at it, we're going to cut another piece. So I'm going to grab another one because we're going to need it for the back. So let's cut this at 2 inches as well. And it should already be 5 inches, I believe, because that's what we just, yep. So that's, these 2 pieces should be the same size. Just don't get them confused because one is part of your seamless thing and one of them is not, okay? So that's that and that. So let's go ahead and do the back. This one's a little bit more complex. Not complex, but just a little bit more detailed. So the back measures 5.5 inches wide by 7 inches tall. So we're going to go ahead and do 5.5. 5.5 by 7 inches. It doesn't matter what we take off because this is just a background paper. So 7 inches tall. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to score 1/4 inch on all 3 of these sides. So I'm going to go ahead and get that in my score thing here. There we go. I was not going to let this weekend go to waste just because I have a toothache. I can't be down for another weekend. I woke up yesterday morning, Friday, and went to work, and I felt like I had grinded my teeth or something during the night and my tooth hurt, but it kind of went away. It didn't really bother me most of the day until the afternoon. And then on my way home, I called the dentist and said I needed to get in. I didn't think it was too urgent, and it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I wasn't going to get in there that day anyway. And so I set an appointment for Tuesday because I don't have work on Tuesday. But I think I'm going to have to call and get in on Monday. So I'm going to miter these corners as you've seen me do before. So just crossing those score lines there. That was really wonky. Doesn't really matter. You're just trying to eliminate the bulk there. And then we are not going to miter those yet, but because I'll show you what we're going to do there in a second. So let me get my bone folder here. And you want to really crease this well because it does tend to want to pop up as you're working with it. And it's really important to be able to control that edge. As you know, I did 3, so I am well acquainted with the process, which is why I don't like to come when I've just done one sample, because I tend to make more errors because I haven't perfected the process by the time I turn the video on. That's got a pokiness there. That's okay. So see how flat that is laying? That's what you want. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and fold this one as well and do the same. Give that a good crease. Okay. And before we ink everything up, we're going to line up our bottom piece. So this is going to go on here. So we don't need this gusset or that hinge there. So I'm going to line it up here, and I'm going to make a mark on each side of this. And we're going to cut off just that hinge, okay? Because you don't need that. You don't necessarily want that in the way of your writing space coming in and out. Now I do need to ink that edge so I can see where I'm actually going to cut. So I'm just going to ink that right there and that right there. And I'm going to use my fussy cut scissors if I can figure out where I put them. Thankfully, I have 2. I don't know where I set them. And my dear, dear husband, he helped me with the chores this morning because the house had been really neglected for the last couple weeks in terms of like the stuff you really need to do, like sweep and mop the floors and really clean the bathrooms well and all that. So he helped me. He did the kitchen, mopped the floor, and when he does it, he always does it like 150%. So he moved stuff and he, wiped the baseboards, and so grateful for my husband. And I did the other stuff kind of slowly this morning as I was feeling like I could. Come on. Come on off. You don't need to stay there. There we go. Oh man, I went too deep there. That's okay. Should not be a problem. Structurally, it won't be a problem. And then we're going to go over here and do the same on this side. And I'm cutting on the inside of the that inked edge. My this toothache is really causing my head to hurt, so it's kind of hard to concentrate like I normally can. So, and then you're going to miter this corner, okay, and then we'll ink it up. Okay, like that. Sorry for the flipping and turning. There we go. Okie dokie. Again, you want to really get those laying down flat because that's going to be important. So I'm going to go ahead and ink all this up. So again, make sure you're checking which is your hinge. Okay, that is not our hinge. Okay, this is our hinge. I mean, not our hinge, our other piece of this that's creating our seamless. Is that the one? Yeah. Is that the one? Yeah. So see how that's seamless? Okay, so make sure that you keep that like that because we do not want to ink this edge. So, and we do not want to ink this edge. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this stuff up. So there's that piece and this piece. Don't ink the bottom, Renee. Ink the top. It's kind of a juicy pad still, apparently. Okay, like that. Okay, so now we can go ahead and ink this as well. Now you can ink this edge because it's just the back. We don't need to ink anything on this side. So now I'm going to go ahead and get my white glue, and I'm going to show you the foolproof way to get this to be straight here. Sometimes I struggle with such things. Okay, so I turn this way, and I'm going to focus on getting this bottom aligned with the bottom and the corners here, because then I will have much more success. Oh wow, that was perfect. Nearly perfect. A little bit of white showing, but oh, we can move it a little bit. There we go. There we go. Make sure it's not too wonky if you can help that. We got a little bit of an overhang there, because white glue that's just what happens with the white glue. You don't get as much opportunity to move it. So just burnishing that. So see how we have a little bit of an edge there. We'll just ink that up, and you know, as I often say, ink covers a multitude of sins, so to speak. So there we go. You could also ink this. It doesn't really show, but we can go ahead and ink that as well. Okay. Now we're going to do our inside piece. There's both of my scissors. Were they both sitting here, you guys? They probably were. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now we're going to do our writing space. So I'm going to bring both of these pieces of paper over, and we're going to cut them to, I'm going to just pull this over for you, 4.5 inches. And I'm going to show you the trick for deciding for how that's going to fold and get compacted into the pocket. So we're going to go over here to 4.5. I'm cutting them both at the same time because I want to make sure they're exactly the same. Okay, so then this piece though, our first piece, we want to only be the 6.5 inches tall, because we're going to hinge it here to the next piece of paper. So I'm going to, what did I say, 6.5, which means I need to open the arm on this baby. Okay, there we go. 6.5, that's just a scrap. And then we can go ahead and take this, I'm lining up, this is the tea stain paper, and I just want that continuous look there of that interesting edge. So I'm going to go ahead and hinge this just 1/4 inch just to connect those two pieces, so we get our longer writing space. You could of course do it smaller. You could do it any way you want. You just want to be thinking about the bulk that you're creating there and make sure your pocket can handle it. Okay. So we're going to go like that, and we're going to stick this here. Okay. So I found that the easiest thing to do, I think I used my Fabri-Tac on this, so I would have a little bit of time to adjust if I don't get this exactly right. So just on that hinge, some glue, and then just butt this up into that fold, that score line, and line up the edge. Sorry if I'm too far away. We can move this because we're working with Fabri-Tac, okay? So that looks really good. So I'm going to go ahead and commit and push that down. Okay, boom. So, and then what you want to do with, so this is going to be what this glues onto. So then this piece, just flip this over and then fold this down so this meets the bottom. We've got a little bit of white down there. I'm not sure why that is. Not sure why that is, but we're going to work with it. Make sure it's not in the way of anything. It looks like we're a little bit of an overage here, so I'm just going to cut that off. Just probably fold it a little bit crooked. It's okay. Perfection is not at play in the studio. So that's what she's going to look like. It's going to go like, actually I want it to flip this way. This is where we attached it, and I like that to be on the inside. So you can just flip it around like so. So this is what you should have. Okay, so I'm going to ink this up really quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I did accidentally ink an edge that I didn't want to, so now I'm inking all the folds and all the edges. So So we've got all that inked up, both sides. Boom. Okay, so again, this is our top because it's longer. That's how you could probably tell. And then I'm going to go ahead and just turn this way because I want to be able to line this up. So you could turn this over, make some marks because this is wider than the paper as it is designed. But I found it easier to just use Fabri-Tac on the back of this and not go quite all the way to the edge. So I'm going to go about 1/4 of an inch from each edge. I can wipe off any excess, so I'm not too concerned about that. Okay. And make sure that your uninked side is down. So you want your inked side at the top. So I'm just going to turn that, and I'm going to just roughly place it down here, trying to get it evenish, but I can always pick it up and turn it over and adjust. So I need to move that over. Okay, so we're about even on both sides. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to grab a paper towel here. Make sure I don't have any glue on there. Okay, well, it doesn't matter because we're going to glue the other piece on. Duh. Forgot to ink this one. So this is our piece to cover this back because it's kind of ugly, right? And you can ink all 4 sides of this piece. A hidden journaling spot like this was one of the very first things I made when I started junk journaling. And I honestly, I was looking at my channel. I have 913 videos on my channel. It's like crazy. So I said all that to say, I don't remember where I watched this. Honestly, it's been so long since I originally did it. But it's a popular hidden writing space, kind of secret writing space. I think it was Cara Brandon, actually. Her name is popping up in my head. But so I'm going to flip this so I don't get any glue anywhere I don't want it. And I'm just, oh, that's upside down. So I'm looking at my script there to see that. And I'm just going to place that down. I'm going to pick it up and adjust it. Obviously, if you were not using Fabri-Tac, you'd want to be a little bit more strategic than what I just did. So got a little bit of an overhang here, but I think it's going to be okay. Yeah, looks great. Looks great. Okay, then this just folds up. Oh, it's... Uh-oh. Did I do that wrong? Not that it matters. I was trying to keep... yeah, I did. I was trying to keep this hinge... on the inside. It doesn't really matter. So the hinge, I can feel that line of the overlap, but it's not a big deal. Okay, so this just slides into the pocket and it should meet exactly. And then you have your, what? Oh, that, I've got to cut that off. So see, I don't know if you guys can see that on camera. There's just a little bit of a notch of extra paper there, and I'm going to clip that because I can see it when it's trying to line up to this pocket. So let me fix that if I can get to it here. Okay, and then it just slides back in there and you should be seamless. Yep, look at that. What am I seeing there? I don't know what I'm seeing there that's bothering me. It just looks like there's like a shadow there for some reason. Maybe stuff is just a little bit off. Oh, I just slid that over. Ah! So the reason why see how the writing space is much narrower than the pocket, even though this is gusseted, it allows you to adjust this from side to side so it lines up. So that's why I do that. But there's just something dark over there. I can't figure out what that is. I'm not going to worry about it. So that is it. We're going to do a little bit of decorating here. So I found some things from the kit I thought we could put on the front. I love this pocket, and I don't feel like it takes away from everything too awfully much. I think I might make it a little bit shorter though, so it doesn't go above this. So I'm going to take off a bit on this, probably about 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch, like that. Yeah, just something different. So I think I had decided that I wanted to cut this down and make it an embellishment on the front of this, but we will see how that goes. Yeah, that's going to be perfect. So I think I'll keep this. I think I'm going to put this off to the side because I don't want it to interfere with that seamless part of our thing here. You know, the thing. Why is that all weird? It's too dark, that's why. The ink was way too juicy. So let's put this down. I'm going to try to be careful because it's a small pocket and we don't want to take up too much of the landscape of the pocket with glue. Boom. There we go. And I think I am going to put it off in this corner. Not quite to the extreme corner. A little bit of a border there. Kind of gives that layered look again. And I'm thinking about separating this out with a little piece of that pink paper. You know, I like to do that. I don't think it's necessary though. Yeah, I think it's going to tie it all together a little bit better. So let's do that. Just making a mark, and I'm going to cut that probably down to about 1/2 inch wide. Again, just enough to kind of separate it out and make it look a little bit more layered, deliciously layered, as I say. There we go. It's time for some more Tylenol. I don't know what's going on with my tooth because everything in my mouth pretty much is either a root canal or a crown, and I can't figure out why that back tooth is. I don't know if I cracked the crown. I guess that could possibly cause some pain, but the whole point into my mouth, like you can see, my gum is like gray, so I don't know what that means, but we will find out. I don't like that, what happened there, so I may not use that one. I may find something else to supplement this and put this smaller one in. I like that because I don't want it to be too overwhelming for this base. Okay, but I thought this would be fun to put on there, so I think I will cut this down. Let's see if we want that to stay square. Oh, it's upside down. I think I'll round it just with the 4mm really small round here, just to soften that corner a little bit. I love using ephemera in a kit ephemera in ways that it's not designed to be used, because I think it just makes it really interesting. You can do that with anything you want. Inconsistent depth of darkness here. There we go. So we will put this on the pocket. See if we can figure out which way is up. Is it this way? I think it's that way. Yeah, that's really pretty. I like it. I'm going to just use my white glue just because it's faster here. Well, not really, but I'm a little fuzzy. Okay. We're going to go ahead and put that down. I'm just lining it up to these corners. See if I can get that straight, but it's bringing out all of this, and it's also tying in all the grays. I feel like that's a really good compliment. And then I have this little flower, and I thought we could put it up here, but I don't know if that's going to be fitting or not. Let me ink it up and see what I think. Let's see, I think it can go this way. Having trouble seeing what's up and what's down. I don't think it really matters, honestly. So if I do it that way, I'll still have room for a whale tail tab, but I do need to do a separating piece here. But do I have something? Ooh, nope, not long enough. Darn it, I wonder if I have a piece of that paper. Let me look really quick, because I think it would be fun to bring that in here really quick. So this is the kit, Victorian Romance. And again, I printed a lot because I print double of the actual journal, the background pages. So let me look for that piece again. I've got it in a small well, it's a small journal page, but it's a larger print, but I think that's going to be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and make it, I'm just going to make a strip, and I'm going to make it 5 inches by about 3/4 of an inch. And the reason why I love to do this is because it brings everything, that's got that dark edge. Pardon me, let me fix that. I don't want that because it's going to look weird if it's just dark on the bottom and not everywhere else. So let me cut another piece. My apologies. I like that dark edge, but it doesn't work in this case because I want everything to look. Yeah, see the difference. Let me grab that piece. So this one was the bottom of the page, so it had this darkish border. So that doesn't really work for me. That'll go in the scrap bin, but I think that can go up there, and that's going to tie this all together. Oh, it's not long enough. What? Okay, well that's okay. We will round these with the small punch as well, the rounder, the 4mm. Just give it a little bit of a softening, and then it'll look like we cut it too short on purpose. That's at least what my brain says. There we go. And I'm going to ink this up. Nice short video today. I'm so glad. I've had a struggle keeping them shorter because I think when I get a little bit discombobulated, I tend to rattle on, and then it's difficult to edit that stuff out. I cannot figure out what I'm seeing there that's so dark. It's just so weird. It's like, it feels like there's a shadow there, or maybe the paper's just kind of popping up a little bit and creating a natural shadow. I feel like it's hanging over. It is hanging over. What the what? What the what? Yeah, because that's all lined up. Look, we've got a hangover. Let's cut that off. Let's cut that off. Make sure I don't make a mistake here. Just make sure everything is the way you want it to be before you start chopping things off, okay? Yeah, I've got, for some reason, that second piece I caught probably was not quite right. Just be careful not to open anything. Okay, we can fix it. I think that edge is just popped up for some reason. Maybe it got a little bit bent. So we're going to put this up here. And I'm just going to use my white glue again. My goal this weekend is to get all of my, I got this one filmed, and then I can get another one filmed and then have the third video of the week already prepped for filming. So I can do that during the week, and then hopefully I can get started on Christina's journal, making the actual, oh come on, Cara-Renee. Try that again. It's not center. Oh, you know what? I think I want to bring it up now that I'm looking at this. I wasn't accounting for that being slightly smaller, narrower than the page. Yikesies. There we go. Yeah, there we go. That works. Okay. And I still don't know if I want this, because see how it's just going to blend in. I don't think it's really necessary. In fact, I think it would just be pretty with our word up here. And I'll get something else for this pocket that's a little bit taller than this, but I kind of just wrecked this one. Well, I guess I could just cut it off, couldn't I? Well, why don't we do that? Why didn't I think of that? Let's just do that. Let's keep those corners small, so I'll do the 4mm again. Just soften that edge a little bit. Yeah, we can do what we want, right? There we go. Yeah. And then I don't have, oh, and that's perfect. It fits perfectly. Okay. So the last thing is just our word. I feel like that paper is crooked. Is it? It is. Let's see if we can move it. Thankfully, the glue is starting to dry, so that's why I'm able to pick that up, because it wasn't really very much glue. So I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac and see if I can straighten that out. Okay, sometimes It can be deceiving. So it's just slightly away from that edge. And I'm just going to try to line up to the script a bit there. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, there we go. And we'll just put our word right on there. I'm not going to round this because it's got a nice little frame on it. And that will be it for today. Just one sample here. This all is just going in my ephemera stash because I'm getting ready to start the Christmas journals, the Nativity journal, and some other things. So I need to kind of use these Pink Monarch Prints kits for a while until I get that stuff ready. So I'm just going to create some random ephemera. There we go. I love it. I think that turned out beautiful. So that is it for today, guys. I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.